This might go on YouTube, so if you're seeing this on YouTube, what's good? It's a Patreon exclusive. Patreon down below. Quick session down below. But yeah, bro, controlling time and space, right? So I'm gonna talk about how to actually control outside time and space, but it starts with first your own time and space externally, and then internally, and then you get really deep on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So because if you ever seen it like a tourist, right? It kind of goes in on itself and then out again. You gotta go in on yourself and then out again to control everything. You see what I'm saying? So you control your space like this and your time like this. You gotta understand time and space first. I made a video about this like a while ago, but I'm just gonna put a little short part inside here, but from that video. Time is dependent on space and energy because with space, right, you now have a point A and a point B. So to get to point A to point B, it takes a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? But you can only move from point A to point B with energy. So even with all this space, if there's no movement within inside the space, there's no real time for real. You know what I'm saying? If I stay here inside the space, there's no time until I get energy and I start to move. You know what I'm saying? So to control your time, you have to have control over your energy. Also because if you have 24 hours in a day, right? Can you stay up for that long? Or is your energy gonna have to get recharged at some point? That's gonna start dealing when it on the energy. Because I'm talking about the space aspect. Because let's go to space first. Because space is pretty deep. You gotta control your space, not just from people. Because yeah, if someone's inside your space, right? A person's in your space and they can like talk to you, interact with you, and just mess you up and throw off your whole entire vibe, right? So inside your space, things communicate. Like, even when it comes to like the ethers, which is what space is, inside the ethers, negative beings live inside the ethers. So space can communicate and stuff like that. Your space communicates with you. So if you don't have a conducive space to what you want to do, it's gonna be hard to do what you want to do. Like if you want to get some stuff done, but you're in like a messy room, it's gonna be easier if you clean the room up and get like a more clear mindset that actually affects you because your space communicates with you and stuff like that. Also the symbolism around you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like what symbols do you have? You know what I'm saying? What colors do you have that are making you feel a certain way? Like what you observe. Ah, dang it. Okay, but what's inside your space is really important. Now let's talk about the energy aspect. So the energy aspect, right? You go see why I said dang it. On the energy aspect, right? That starts with like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay, to control your energy, you may not do as much physical work. You know what I'm saying? You may not eat certain foods. You may start eating other foods and just not eating as much in general. You may start doing practices to get more energy and stuff like that, like maybe like some breath work or like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you do workouts or like doing like energetic type of stuff to really just get you going and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you have 24 hours inside of a day, right, you can't stay up for that long usually. So you're gonna have to, like find a way to actually stay up for that long. Your energy is really important. You know what I'm saying? Now, energy is also dependent on your awareness because energy comes from awareness. You know what I'm saying? I talked about that in my psychology and spiritual PowerPoint. If you ain't see it, go watch it. I'm gonna talk more about it in my Christian Universe PowerPoint. With that being said, though, right, when you observe your thoughts, that takes energy. You know what I'm saying? Also, with the stuff inside of your space that you're observing, like I said, if you have something inside your space that makes your mind have certain thoughts that aren't beneficial, every time you look at it, it's going to drain you. Even if you don't always observe the thought process, it's going on. You know what I'm saying? And a part of you is observing that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not fully. So it's draining your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like what you look at drains your energy. Your awareness is really important. So if you control what you observe, you'll start controlling your energy. Because when you start to control what you observe, you also control your space too. Because even if somebody is inside your physical space, right? You could just close your eyes. And this gets to the deeper part. This gets to the real deep part. Controlling what you observe. Because you know how like when you go to sleep at night, right? You go to sleep, you get rest, wake up, it's great. But usually when you go to sleep, right, you're only inside that resting kind of state. You're not in that resting state for that long. Like you're dreaming sometimes, you're tossing and turning sometimes, you're still like awake, look at the back of your eyelids sometimes. You're not always just inside that sleep resting state. If you could control what you observe, you could always go there. So it's like you need some rest. I'll go there for like 30 minutes real quick, for like a 2-hour nap. You see what I'm saying? You control what you observe, you get a lot of control over this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? For a couple reasons. One, with what I just said, if you have more energy, you can actually do more and do more action to control this stuff. And then two, what's inside you is actually linked with the outside you. So you start observing certain stuff with inside you. You'll start, like, for example, let's say this jacket, right, is like somewhere inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Because information is going inside of me. I'm interpreting it and I'm seeing it get projected as this. But the information is inside me somewhere. So if I could go inside myself and tap the information, I could start controlling this type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, it sounds weird, but it's like inside you. Imagine there's like a whole bunch of buttons for the outside world. If you go inside, you could learn all the buttons, literally. As above, so below, microcosm, macrocosm, same thing, bro. Even on your cellular level, right? Your cells could eat, poop, pee, do all that stuff, regenerate, grow, just like you as a human being. So microcosm, macrocosm. You're like a cell inside the universe, or inside the Earth. You're like a cell inside of Earth, and Earth could be like a cell inside space, or however you want to freaking see it, or a cell inside the solar system. However you want to freaking see it. You know what I'm saying? You get the freaking point. So if you go inside yourself, right? You stop observing certain doubts, limits, and beliefs, limits, and characters and personalities. You go beyond all that limits and physical stuff, and you go to the more subtle realities that are actually in line with this stuff. I mean, every reality is in line with this, but you just get deeper and get more in touch with this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? About going inside yourself. So when you learn to choose what you want to observe, you naturally start to be like, hey, I don't want this in my space, whether it be a person, an object, whatever. Get out my space. You know what I'm saying? When you choose what you observe, you naturally have more energy. You're saying, I don't want to observe this. And you say, I don't want to observe this and drain myself. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you observe other things that make you get energetic and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You control your energy also. And if you have more energy, you have more time. You see what I'm saying? Because now you can actually you can use all 24 hours now. You see what I'm saying? So to control time and space, you use your own awareness. And if you use your own awareness, you can observe yourself inside yourself, get very deep, and actually control the outside world and stuff like that from literally inside you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you go inside yourself and access and you're like, yo, I want to observe the astral plane. You're